Hello, everybody. It's been I've just managed to escape from the clutches of the enemy. I'm just kidding. Armin, in the last moment here, because there was an entire debate, and I'm like, I knew it's gonna take way too long. No, I tried to make it shorter. I'm so sorry I apologize, but you're gonna see what it would be about. I guess I can actually. Here is what we talked about and what the debate was on. Because I actually thought you guys want to start with that. Let's start with that. There have been a lot of exciting things happening, going on. All right, so let's start actually with my argument with Armin right now, which is not really an argument. I just passed on a message that I got, and I cannot say how 100% common belief or truth it is, but I'll share it with you anyway. All right, so this is the message that
stranded U.S.
So I think
now the president also
is this the? Am I right? Oh yeah. I think this is the segment. Okay. And hello everybody. Happy Easter. Is Easter today? What is Easter? I feel like where is everyone? Just because I'm late. Oh, thank you so much. I wish I could read your name. I honestly cannot, but thank you. Hats off to Israel. Please donate to Rebecca. She's doing great work. Thank you, Israel. Thank you. Yes, please donate to Rebecca. I agree and approve the message. And I'm just taking some time because I see it's kind of lonely right now here, and I'm guessing that I was late, so a lot of people also are late in joining in, just waiting for me. Who knows when I'm gonna come. Oh, thank you for complimenting me, Blas. Thank you. All right. Okay. Let's talk about Passover for a second, because I miss bread. I miss chametz. I miss eating bread. Yes. Okay, let's continue. Welcome, CJ Colbert. Thank you so much. Welcome as a new member. Welcome. Okay, I see people are joining. Okay, we can start. We can start, and I can tell you what the conversation, why I was having some time talk on Armin's group conversation, which you're gonna see.
Now, the president also provided new details on what happened earlier this year as the Iranian regime took to the streets and slaughtered what the president tells me is 45,000 civilians in their own country. After that took place, President Trump told me the United States sent guns to the Iranian protesters. He tells me we sent them a lot of guns. We sent them to the Kurds, and the president says he thinks the Kurds kept them. He went on to say we sent guns to the protesters, a lot of them. And so a number of headlines here from my conversation with President Trump, all of this taking place more than a month into Operation Epic Fury, and in the aftermath of that successful U.S. operation overnight to rescue that stranded U.S. service member inside Iranian territory. The president himself ordering that operation after the CIA came on Saturday morning and confirmed that they located where this crew member of an F-15 that was shot down on Friday was located. Again, the president making that decision to send in hundreds of U.S. special forces deep into Iranian territory and successfully retrieving that U.S. service member. Guys?
I want to make sure I got this correctly. Are you saying that the president told you that he sent guns?
Yeah, why did it cut off in this critical moment? I kind of feel like we should search for it on YouTube and see it properly. Here's the thing. So I saw that and I was like, first of all, there are several questions, like when did it happen? Because what I had in mind immediately is that I remembered that when President Trump said help is on the way, and maybe that was the reference of, okay, the Kurds are joining in and it's gonna help the protesters. I didn't remember what day it was, but I did remember that at the same time, the Kurds were attacked from the other front, which is Turkey. And so I checked when that happened, and look, there is even a Wikipedia article, very convenient. Listen, just I need some way to remember, like which way which layout makes sense when. I keep confusing it. Anyway, so you say on January 13th, 2026, and during that speech, somebody said, "Oh, the great help is on the way." Also happened on January 13th, 2026. So on January 13, 2026, the Syrian transitional government launched an offensive against the Kurdish-led Syria Democratic Forces. Also, I want to add that there was I saw today an article saying that the Syrian government had been selling weapons to, wait for it, Hezbollah. And I've also made a little bit of a short, I don't know if you guys remember, where I nicely explained that there is no difference between Shia and Sunni when it comes to the greater goal and good of bringing the Sunni, bringing the West down. So, one second, you guys. All right. Sorry, I was like listening to another update from the Kurdish side. Anyway, so you know, there are fun things that had happened. Also, like the ISIS jail that the Kurds were working so hard to protect from, you know, from ISIS, basically going back to ISIS, was that area was taken by Julani, and all the ISIS members went and were freed, and now they're back in the streets doing terrorism as they do. And Kurdish women were taken as sex slaves, you know, all the good stuff. So this is what I remembered, but I said, let me check and ask, like, what is the Kurdish angle on that? And the current Syrian with the former Al-Qaeda, I don't know what's the former, he was Al-Qaeda and then he was, yeah, HTS, yeah. Anyway, yeah, so that happened at the same time. So my initial thought was, maybe they were overwhelmed by the Turkish front, led by Tom Barak, which is somebody who should have been fired and put to jail a long time ago with all the damage he does. Sorry, for those who don't know, he's just the American. I'm sorry, there is a bug here. I just can't, like, it bothers me. Go away. Yes. It passed away, unfortunately. Dire circumstances. Who is that? Okay. Anyway, so I'll start over because this bug, it crashed my mind. It entered my mind, hacked my mind, and crashed it. Okay, so when I heard that, I heard it first when I was like in the Armin conversation, because I was looking for data to give you all, right? I was like, okay, sometimes they bring stuff up, stuff there, and I'm like, yeah, good, I'm gonna bring it over. And then I heard that there is this, and Trump, and they think he stole the weapons. And the first thought I had is, if it sounds like it happened during the help is on the way announcement, which they maybe counted on the Kurds, and the Kurds were attacked by the Turks via Ahmed Ashari and Tom Barak, you know, why is Tom Barak still there? Is doing so much damage. This American envoy to, he's an ISIS member himself, to be honest. Whatever. This is a conversation for another time, another live. I mean, I think I've had a live where just me and Mansour just talking about how awful Tom Barak is. And I also want to say thank you for gifting, Govan, for gifting membership to one of you all. Welcome, welcome. Welcome to the club. Anyway, I do feel like when I see those super chats, I get motivated to give you guys information. So my initial thought was like, okay, first of all, like the Turks and the IRGC and the Iranians, they cooperate. And if Giuliani actually sold weapons to Hezbollah, which I totally believe, it proves it more than anything that they are now on the same team. And if you look at the announcement and the stupid things that Turkey said recently, then it's clear that they are siding with Iran in this front. One reason they would do that, which is a video I've made before, is the Kurds. The Turks fear the Kurds. In a world where the IRGC goes away, the Kurds would have one front less to think of. One front less to think of, maybe they would come and steer more in the Turkish side now that they have all the resources available to deal with one side, which is Turkey. So they get screwed all over. And yes. I actually am thinking maybe I should try and find the exact stupid things that Turkey recently said, just for you all to enjoy how crazy they've been. So that was my initial thought. Okay, maybe they just were too busy on the Syrian front. That happened simultaneously, which I think was like, oh, help is on the way. Trump was like, Giuliani, make sure that no help will be on the way. Okay, keep them busy. All right. Shalom says, love from India. Read about attack Haifa port. It's developed by Adani Group for IMAC. It's challenged China's BRI. Yes, that's another thing that's happening, but one story at a time. Thank you so much for your support, though. Thank you so much. Yeah, Thomas and Hakan Fidan. Can I confess and say that I don't know who Hakan Fidan is? Who is Hakan Fidan? I'm so bad with, like, one of the reasons I don't like talking about politics and I choose geopolitics is that geopolitics requires way less remembering names. It just, you look at the geography and you are like, okay, the geography and the way things are structured right now means that this country is going to be a dictatorship. Believe me, that's how ridiculous how much geography can tell you. Like, if you look at geography and you look how China is, like, you can tell what countries are going to be dictatorships just if you look at geography. And I'm like, does it matter who is in rule? I know already who's going to be, like, what's the ruling, like what's the structure of the rulership would look like just based on how the country looks like on a map. I mean, I'd love to be proven wrong, but in general, that's how intuitively simple it is, which is why I love geopolitics. It's like sometimes like there are more complicated stories and more sophisticated like structures that are made, like the United States. Like the United States is like an incredible exception of the rule, and and so yeah, I just love the fact that geopolitics requires you to remember way less names. So Hakan Fidan is the Minister of Foreign Affairs in Turkey. Yeah. I like once I saw, like I searched, it's this guy. When I, like, now that I see his face, I realized, like, yes, I remember. I remember hearing him spewing bullshit out of his mouth. Like, I remember you. I remember you. All right, let's look for the Kurds in Fox News to see what the full thing was. So anyway, I was like, okay, this is what my intuition tells me, but maybe I'm wrong. So I'm better check what is the Kurdish version. And I said, hey, guys on Fox News are saying that Trump said that they gave you weapons and the weapons were stolen. Is this true? And then I heard the Kurdish version, which is not perfect, okay? I'm gonna tell you right now. It's just a general answer. Like, wait, let me see if there is more, because I checked it basically now. But basically, the answer was, yes, Trump approached us and asked for help, but in return, the Kurds asked for several things. One of them being backup, like some, because they're gonna go risk their lives like crazy. Another thing was credit, because they say like a lot of time the Kurds do something and then their credit is being taken away. Nobody remembers that it was Kurds. And the third thing was some guarantee, like autonomies, like they want to have some autonomy related rights, which right now, like what my source told me, is that in Iran, even naming your child a Kurdish name is forbidden. So and nobody talks about what about the Iran tomorrow, like what would the Kurds be allowed to keep from their culture, to what extent? And I feel like this conversation is missing. It's like, I'm sorry, but somebody needs to say, like, and I have no, I cannot tell you how many times we try pass that message on to the Shah and everyone, and to Reza, saying, hey, say something, like acknowledge their existence, like say something, like something, like even the most basic something, just so that but the Iranian approach, which is what my source was like, no matter how much you tell the Iranians that the Kurds want to have this and that, they say no. How, like, the Iranians, their approach is, oh, being an Iranian is the best thing you can be. Why would, like, aren't you proud to be like Iranian? Of course you want to be Iranian. Iranian is like the best. This is how she told me that the Iranians respond. Like, even if it's being brought up, and no matter and they always say like, oh, I have a Kurdish friend, like that he is proud to be Iranian, and like, I don't like what, like, you are not the majority. And it's basically doesn't matter who says it. It's for somehow then. And I asked her specifically, like, is there a survey, something, some ground information? And she said, yes, I think like I have some ground information, and it looks like it varies, right? But I know. Yeah, Goldie says the Iranian Kurds consider themselves Iranian and they don't want their own separate region. But it's not just separate region, right? It's a lot of things. And now what I told Armin, for example, that he said, like, we talked about like having Kurdish schools, right? He said like, oh, they want, like, some want to have like the Kurdish schools, and that's how they want to be separatists. And I had the exact same conversation with Turku Afci, if you guys remember, about the Kurds. And I asked him like about in Turkey, why wouldn't be allowed to learn in Kurdish, right? And it's like, and I basically, I can tell you that my conversation with Armin went exactly the same way as it went with the Turkish Turku. And I said, like, listen, it's, as far as I'm concerned, free market, right? It makes sense that if you only know Kurdish, then you wouldn't be able to get the same job in the Persian areas as somebody who speaks Persian. It makes perfect sense, right? But it's like, you should And then to that I said, in Israel you can go to an American school which you learn in English, or you have schools that teach in Arabic. Like it's free market. Free market. It's like, let them decide what school they sign their kids to. But no, I that didn't pass. Like, it's like, no, they're Iranian, they should learn. Like, but it's like, yeah, they can't even have that liberty. It's like, are they not like mature enough to decide on their own? I don't know. It's just, to me, I agree with that, because I can tell you that Arabs that don't speak Hebrew properly are having a harder time to find a job. And I do think it really goes against them. It's way harder. Like, even a person like Nusail, like, Nas Daily, like, he went from, like, when he was 18, he studied abroad right away. And usually what happens is that the Israeli Arabs learn Hebrew when they go to university, not before that. Before that, their Hebrew is pretty broken for a lot of them. And then they learn in university. And then they speak it, right? Speak it freely. You'd be surprised, but you can learn a lot when you're 18. You can learn a language. And especially since Hebrew is not difficult, especially if you speak Arabic, they're related. We do that. Rebecca, you can have 2 languages in school, mother tongue and respective national language. We do that in entire country. And how do you do that? Do you, like, because one of the things is like, in what language do they learn math? That's the question. Math and physics, like, what language do they learn? I want to hear what they do, what's the solution for it. Because unrelated to the conversation with Armin, I actually was wondering about it, because it is a disadvantage when it comes to like the Arabs in Israel. And for somebody who went from at 18 and studied abroad right away, like, his Hebrew is not good enough for him to speak it freely. Just like, it's inconvenient for him. I mean, he does, but not that well. And I think it does better. It is not so easy. So I understand. I agree, right? But I also think, for one thing, is like, in Israel, for a lot of Arab villages don't even have the option to study in Hebrew, which I think they should. At least they should have the right to choose, at least. But yeah, I'm looking at, like, that's 4 weeks ago. Okay, let me look. Like, okay, Fox News. Let me go to this channel. Videos. Where are the Kurds? How diversion campaign, diversion. You guys know which clip would have that? What's the role of Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff in the war, in your opinion? To be pretty, basically. They're just pretty. Pretty boys. Not my type, but people like plants. Some people like cactuses. Some people like branches. I don't know. Just pretty decorations. That's their role, basically. Isn't Hebrew the national language of Israel? It is. But we have Arabic as like an honorary language place. Where is it? Where would it be? I think it's recent. Okay, I know. Let me check. Trump, US sent guns to. I'm sorry. I don't like that it was cut in the middle. Iran deal could be done tomorrow. whether or not like the Kurds are right or wrong with their positions, at least that conversation should be allowed, you know? Like, I don't like that the conversation is not allowed. I think, like, as here, like as an Israeli, we have like a very extreme approach. Like, we talk about anything, like anything. Like there isn't a topic or there isn't anything that cannot be talked about. There isn't something that is like, no, goes on, which I also feel like Americans do have. So, I mean, I don't think it, like it, you know, I just, I don't know. Why is it so hard to find? Okay, let's just watch something randomly. I swear.
What can you tell us? And with that, let's go now to Trey Yingst back in Tel Aviv, where he has the latest. And Trey, we understand you have brand new reporting from the White House. What can you tell us?
Yeah, guys, good morning. I just spoke with President Trump for 15 minutes. He gave me some new details.
By the way, I don't like this guy. I don't trust him. Treying something like what I learned during this war is that I don't like him. If you ask me why, I don't remember. And I cannot tell you. Like, I just remember, like, I just remember the feeling, not the logic, you know? And it's like, sometimes I just remember the feeling. Yeah, right? You guys don't, like, this is, I remember him, like, giving locations, like, going against the censor in Israel, like, giving away locations of, like, missiles hits and stuff. So, I don't know. Okay. So that's just my personal feelings. I wanted to, there was somebody who asked me about Laura Loomer. Oh yeah, this one. I'll just opinions on Laura Loomer post on X. I don't read them, but they are amusing sometimes. I don't follow actually too hard. I have a friend that says that she does a lot of damage with her posts. I'm very neutral. I think she can be very amusing sometimes. All right, let's watch.
On the negotiations behind the scenes with the Iranians and what's going to happen if Iran does not make a good faith deal. The president tells me if they don't make a deal and fast, I'm considering blowing everything up and taking over the oil. The president went on to say you're going to see bridges and power plants dropping all over their country. Now, I asked him about the possibility of an agreement with the Iranians. He says those who are negotiating on behalf of Iran have been granted amnesty at this time so they can continue the talks. And the president tells me he thinks he'll be able to get a deal by tomorrow. He says, I think there's a good chance tomorrow. They're negotiating now.
What
All
deal?
of this following the president's post on True Social, where he talked about these negotiations with the Iranians. We'll pull this up. He says, quote, Tuesday will be power plant day and bridge day, all wrapped up in one. In Iran, there will be nothing like it. Open the effing straight, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah. The president posting there on True Social about this ongoing operation and his new red line for the Iranian regime. Now, the president also provided new details on what happened earlier this year as the Iranian regime took to the streets and slaughtered what the president tells me is 45,000 civilians in their own country. After that took place, President Trump told me the United States sent guns to the Iranian protesters. He tells me we sent them a lot of guns. We sent them through the Kurds, and the president says he thinks the Kurds kept them. He went on to say we sent guns to the protesters, a lot of them. And so a number of headlines here from my conversation with President Trump, all of this taking place more than a month into Operation Epic Fury and in the aftermath of that successful U.S. operation overnight to rescue that stranded U.S. service member inside Iranian territory. The president himself ordering that operation after the CIA came on Saturday morning and confirmed that they located where this crew member of an F-15 that was shot down on Friday was located. Again, the president making that decision to send in hundreds of U.S. special forces deep into Iranian territory and successfully retrieving that U.S. service member. Guys?
I want to make sure I got this correctly. Are you saying that the president told you that he sent guns, the U.S. government sent guns to the protesters via the Kurdish, that the Kurdish kept some of the guns?
Yeah. Why was it cut in that segment?
Correct. The president tells me that the United States sent guns to the Iranian protesters earlier this year. He says we sent them.
All right. So earlier this year, I think that was in January. Okay. So it does. Okay. That I have a feeling. By the way,
through the Kurds, and he thinks that the Kurds kept them. Remember, the president made a commitment to the Iranian protesters who were in the streets of their country earlier this year. Those images were circulating online of thousands of people who were slaughtered at the hands of the Iranian regime, the current regime that is attacking U.S. forces as we speak. And the president made a commitment on True Social to those protesters, and he said help is on the way. And we are learning as a result of this call with President Trump that he attempted to send guns to these protesters in order to fight back and defend them. Remember, these were peaceful demonstrators who were protesting against their government, and they were met with live ammunition from the Iranian regime in the streets of their country. They were slaughtered. And Fox News was talking to people in Iran who were using Starlink, and they were describing these horrific scenes in the streets of their country.
I have a question. When somebody reports something like that, okay, I'll just open a map for a second, because I'm just don't understand this kind of reporting. It's like there is so much distance between the Kurdish areas, and then you have to go through. Don't forget that the protests happened in every city in Iran. Iran is huge. How were they supposed to pass the guns on? Clearly, the plan was for the Kurds to go and fight in the streets for the Iranians in general. Because the Iranians don't know how to use a gun. They don't have that experience. They don't have any kind of experience in insurgency or so. I mean, there is something. Is it just me? Isn't that a bit of misleading to say something like, oh, the Kurds were supposed to give the Iranians, the protesters, guns? How exactly? What do you mean? There were protests, if you guys remember, one way that they managed to shoot so many people is that they blended in with the crowd and started shooting people in the crowd from within, right? It's here, let me open. I'm just so, you guys, don't you think it's a bit this kind of reporting is misleading? It's as if you just go and pass the guns on, as if it's not an ask for the Kurds to go and risk themselves, really risk themselves, go through all the I don't Is it me that is bothered by it? Am I wrong? I'm not a military correspondent, okay? I do geopolitics. It's different. And culture, religion, geopolitics. It's not exactly the same. I knew some military because it's important, right? But it's not the same as being somebody with ground force and experience. But it's
regime in the streets of
giving arms to such a group is never a good idea. I agree. What do you mean? It's not giving arms. It's arms that they were supposed to be getting anyway. I mean, it's just more arms because officially the Kurds already were cooperating, and there are several fronts that they're fighting on. And this is something I also explained and made and there are no borders between the Kurds. The Kurds in Iraq and the Kurds in Syria, they travel freely between those areas. It's not like Java is separated from Kurdistan. The people travel. And my guess is that the Kurds in Iran also go around like that. So you arm the Kurds in Syria to fight and or to guard, for example, the jail that ISIS members were kept in, they have to, like, they are getting armed anyway, because they have to get armed. And they were backstabbed 100%, right? When that jail that they worked so hard in guarding was given away to Julani as a part of like a deal, while the Julani, like Trump gave a perfume to Julani, this terrorist Al Qaeda that is ruling over, and the Tom Barak, which is like a criminal that goes around and has like friends inside the Turkish government, and all those criminals, right? Being like, yeah, sure, like, okay, let's trust, let's broke a peace treaty between and mix and reunite Syria, and the Kurds were like, okay, fine, and then the next day their women were taken as slaves, and all the ISIS members in the jail were set free, and these are people who they fought for years to put in jail, those ISIS members, and they were set free just like that. It's like, so it's like, it's so misleading. It's like, or like they were given weapons to go, like, no, they are like, it's not like, you need to understand, it's like they were given more weapons than usual, more weapons maybe than what they should be getting, because they already are fighting for the on the American side, on the ground, in real life, when it comes to every other, like when it comes to Syria, when it comes to Kurdistan, right? The issues there. So what is it like? Don't trust them. Like, you already are dependent on them, and not only that, it's like they were betrayed. So it's such a thing. Like, you think like there is, they travel freely in those areas, right? It's not like, wait, I want to here. Something. Okay. Let me show you the map, okay? For the record, so Syria, I'm sorry, it's I don't know why it's in, okay, whatever. I'm sorry, it's in Hebrew. So basically, this area is Rojava. This is Kurdistan here. I think it goes like Mosul, Erbil, and I'm not sure where. And then there is the area here that is Kurdish, and they travel freely. Okay, they travel freely between these areas. So it's not like you give weapons and like to fight for the Kurds here, and it's not gonna be used in Kurdistan or Iran. Doesn't work that way. So it's like just the only claim that could be made here, that they were given more weapons. So, and or what I've been told, that actually what happened is that they were asked to also join the fight and basically help out the Iranian protesters, which is so misleading to say that, yeah, sure, they can just go and give the Iranian protesters weapons, right? Which is like, Iran is, I don't know why it does that. I'm so sorry. I don't know why it's in Hebrew. I thought I fixed it. Let me fix it. Okay, let's go back to Fox News with this shady person, and then I'll fix the map in the meantime.
Back and defend them. Remember, these were peaceful demonstrators who were protesting against their government, and they were met with live ammunition from the Iranian regime in the streets of their country. They were slaughtered. And Fox News was talking to people in Iran who were using Starlink, and they were describing these horrific scenes in the streets of their country. And the president, again, told them that support and help was on the way. And so it appears that was the help the president was talking about. And again, as all of this is taking place, now that we zoom out 3 months later, the president is offering the Iranians a diplomatic solution to end this conflict. The same offer that he gave the Iranians before Operation Epic Fury began. Exactly. And remember, we know that at the negotiating table before this operation began, the opening position of the Iranian regime is that we have 460 kilograms of 60% enriched uranium, enough to make 11 nuclear bombs. And the president, understanding the country's ballistic missile program and their nuclear aspirations, ultimately ordered this operation. Well, more than 35 days later, the president once again is offering the Iranians a diplomatic solution. And again, he tells Fox News in a phone call earlier today, he thinks he'll be able to get a deal with Iran by tomorrow. He says he thinks there's a good chance tomorrow. They are negotiating now. But again, the president goes on to tell me you're going to see bridges and power plants dropping all over their country if they're unwilling to make a deal.
So incredible reporting, Trey. But it's interesting.
Incredible.
Because President Trump told you that he was thinking optimistic, it sounds like, that there could be a deal tomorrow. But did you also sense a frustration in his talking about the negotiations? Because Iran has never changed their tune. They so far have yet to show any inkling of good faith negotiating, but maybe something has changed in the last 24 hours?
The short answer is no. It doesn't appear anything major has changed as it relates to the way that the Iranians are negotiating. What's changed is the increase in P1 bridge, a new bridge in Iran that the Iranians, according to intelligence officials here, were going to use to transport military equipment. And he told me on the phone that as he was trying to get a deal, the Iranians were trying to push off the negotiating timeline, saying next Tuesday we'll meet, for example. And the president said, no, next hour, because this is a president who wanted to get a deal. He wants to get the job finished. And ultimately, the Iranians were trying to stretch out that negotiating timeline, and the president ordered the strike against this critical infrastructure in Iran, again, to send a message that the United States is not playing games on the battlefield or at the negotiating table. And so the sense that I got from President Trump is that he is very serious as it relates to these threats against the Iranian regime when it comes to their unwillingness to make a good faith agreement, despite the fact that the president has given them multiple off-ramps. And again, he tells...
I mean, you know, it's sometimes people are slow learners, but they learn. And President Trump learned, Baruch Hashem, that the Iranian regime is absolutely batshit crazy.
Tells me that he ideally will take Iranian oil if they are unwilling to make an agreement. And so that is a major development in this conflict. And the president making very clear in his post on Truth Social that Iranian power and energy infrastructure will be targeted in the days ahead if Iran doesn't make a deal tomorrow.
Based on your conversation then, Trey, especially when you consider there has been no evidence whatsoever that the regime is trustworthy. They make deals all the time. They say things all the time, and they never, ever, ever follow through. Was that your sense in listening to the president? And if that's so, it seems to me like 24 hours from now, we're going to hear a lot more about bombing.
They only talk for like 15 minutes. I feel like there was a lot of like short-handedness in that conversation.
Yes, the president understands the deal very well based on what I gathered from the conversation. And he said primarily we're talking about the Strait of Hormuz being opened.
That's right.
Again, the Iranians have these small vessels where they use mine-laying vessels, for example, to try and disrupt billions of dollars worth of oil trade through the strait. And it's something that they can continue to do, and it's very inexpensive for Iran, but can be very expensive for the international energy markets. And the president understands this. And so the primary thing that he talked about was the Strait of Hormuz. He also said there are 15 other points, but he does believe that he'll be able to get an agreement with the Iranian regime. I think the important part here, too, is the negotiating team that the president has. We're talking about U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and the president's son-in-law, Jared Kushner. If you think back to last year, the entire region didn't think a ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas was possible. And ultimately, the president was able to send his special envoy to the region, send Jared Kushner to the region, and go to Egypt and get a deal that everyone said wasn't possible. And I think that that is the sentiment now. Ultimately, there will be some sort of negotiated settlement. The president's really just giving the Iranians a chance right now.
They're not gonna, they're gonna continue doing, here's what they actually do. They, like, what they do is that they trickle boats in the Hormuz Straits because, like, they are trying to, they're walking on a, like this, this tightrope, and they are trying to, on one hand, to show President Trump like they are moving things on the ground so that to buy time. On the other hand, the official line that they promote is that they are not negotiating, they're not compromising, they're not willing to do anything. the reality on the ground is that they are trying to buy time by a lot, like by, you know, they started with like hermetic laws, and then it's like, okay, China and India, you can go through, Pakistan. And then it was, okay, Europeans, you can go through, you just have to bribe us, like pay jizya on the way out. And so that's how they go, that's how they compromise.
In order to stop things right here, because the United States has more U.S. forces in the region. The president's been very clear he's willing to move more forces to the Middle East if needed, but there are already tens of thousands of U.S. forces currently in the Middle East. And as we saw last night, U.S. special forces have the ability, hundreds of them, to go into Iranian territory to conduct operations and successfully leave the country without anyone being killed or very serious injuries happening
What is it going about?
to those forces. And again, this is also a message of deterrence, I am told. I spoke with a senior U.S. official earlier today who said only the United States of America has the capability to do what is being done right now in Iran. And the president has a variety of options on the table to choose from as it relates to how this conflict is going to move forward. And as we talked about earlier, it appears the president is giving the Iranians until tomorrow to make a good faith agreement, or there will be a price to pay.
Why is it such a delusional waste of time, everything that he's saying? I'm sorry. I just like waiting for some value here. Maybe I'll just finish through. I'll just go fast. I mean, it's nice. It's a nice story, but this the Iranian regime has to go.
According to the president, and that will be Iran's power grid and bridges. And he even described it to me as power plant day and bridge day, because he said this will be a concerted effort to strike at the heart of the regime and their infrastructure if they're unwilling to come to the table and make a good faith deal.
Well, Trey, your report gives me a lot of hope. I mean, we've all been praying for peace and hopefully a negotiation, a way out of this. Did the president give you any indication as to who is leading these negotiations? My understanding is that last week, the Iranian said, we want to deal with J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance was beginning negotiations with somebody on the Iranian side, and then that person we killed, and I think, or injured, and then some of his family was killed, if I'm correct me if I'm wrong. So who is leading the negotiations, and who are they negotiating with? Because part of the problem is if you kill so many of the leaders, you're not left with a lot of people to negotiate.
Yeah, I want to be careful with my reporting here, but I can tell you I spoke with President Trump both on and off the record. We talked for about 15 minutes.
I understand.
And he told me that the current negotiators from the Iranian side have been granted limited amnesty right now. They're not going to kill them as these negotiations continue. And that's something that the Iranians requested, and the president was willing to grant, given the fact that he is controlling the scope of these negotiations right now. But I think the president also talked about how the Iranians are negotiating. And this was the thing that I drew from the conversation, is that the Iranians like to drag their feet in these negotiations. And the president, basically through that strike on a key bridge in Iran last week, was trying to send a message to them that they're either going to make a deal or they're going to face consequences for not making a deal. And so, again, the president told me that the Iranians were trying to push off the negotiations an additional week and a number of days ahead. And the president said, no, next hour you're going to negotiate. Because, again, this is a president who is directly involved and speaking on a daily basis with U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, with his son-in-law Jared Kushner, because they understand the framework of this deal. They also understand how the Iranians negotiate. And they're not negotiating in good faith, despite the fact that the United States is giving them this off-ramp.
Right.
We've seen this in the past. We saw this during previous administrations. And the difference with this administration is that the president is not willing to let them drag it out. He's saying, if you're going to make a deal...
Okay, that was such a waste of words. Honestly, oh my God. I want my time back. I apologize, y'all. I noticed, Wahab, that you somehow found yourself in unfamiliar, uncharted territory. So let me explain like where you are at. Because I don't think you understand like the channel that you had decided to spam with your the comment on the girls' school being a like deliberate strike or a school or not. But you know, I think I'll tell you a story. You know, I feel like it's story time. So when you know, one of the biggest helpers during the Independence War of Israel, which you probably know as the Nakba celebratory day, you know, that period of time, there was a village called Khan Yunis, if I'm not mistaken. No, I'm sorry, not Khan Yunis, Deir Yassin. Deir Yassin. And then Deir Yassin had, there was a reporter there who thought it would be an amazing idea. He was like, you know, there aren't enough Arab soldiers on the ground fighting the Israelis and the Jews. We need more force, reinforcement. So they decided to write a story to motivate the Arabs around to join the fight. The story went like that. Here is what happened. Basically, they wrote some stories about what the Jews did in Deir Yassin to the poor, miserable Arabs that lived there. And to say the least, it was a very personal, warm, and intimate kind of death. So very, Arab style. If you want to get inspired of the options that exist, then I would recommend watching the videos on what happened to the Druze in Syria, or what happened to the Jews during October 7th. Oh, that's unfortunate. You think Wahab left? Well, then let me tell you the story. The story is that once this reporter wrote that story, all the Arabs realized that the Jews are crazy, and they lost all motivation to fight. And therefore, here's what I say. When it comes to the deprived mind of the Muslims, right? Everything that is bad PR when you face the West is good PR when we face the East. The more barbaric, the more violent, the more awful you are, that's good for you when you write in Arabic. It's bad when you write it in English, unfortunately, which has always been Israel's dilemma. It's like, you cannot, like, this works, this is beautiful PR, but just for this crowd, not that crowd. Anyway, what I'm saying here, if the Iranian regime cares about their kids so much, and now they know that the Americans are willing to strike their children, then maybe they'd be motivated to lay their arms down and run to Afghanistan and just Nakba themselves out of the way. So this is what I think about it. Do I think it matters? Like, I honestly, like, fog of war. Who hit it? Who knows? Do I care? No. Here. What is South update on Southern Lebanon? They're going through a Nakba as well. Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem. Okay. Anyway, that's unfortunate. Where did Wahab go? Did Wahab not like my story? Did Wahab didn't enjoy how much I care that this Iranian school was hit? By the way, like, it looks like this school belonged to the regime. Okay, it was IRGC ejected school, so. Let them, I don't know, I don't say that. I don't care. I really don't care. Anyway. So this is very interesting. I saw Marin Awful reporting on that 2 Israeli commando units reportedly participated in the 36-hour mission to rescue the missing US F-15 pilot from Iran. I didn't know that Shaldag was 5101. That I learned it here. Members of Shaldag and Sarat Matkal specialize in clandestine operations, combat search and rescue, and special reconnaissance within enemy territory. A U.S. helicopter reportedly came under fire during the operation, but was able to return safely to base. Source: Iran International. Oh, that's very interesting. But I actually, like, I wanted to focus a lot on the operation and everything that happened there. And actually, like, I named, like, were Israeli media channels part of the U.S. pilot rescue mission in Iran? The reason I say it, because I saw that the Israeli channels, like, they jumped, like, all of them, 12 Khan, everybody started reporting that the location of the other pilot, right, is known, or like everybody started like quoting the Israeli media for what's happening on the ground in Iran when it comes to the rescue mission. And I know from experience that sometimes the Israeli media are sent a message to send a message, to give some information. And I was thinking, like, it's weird. Like, why is the Israeli media like jumping and saying, hey, this is what's happening on the ground? And I think like the reason they did it was they got like, okay, you say that. And a lot of people like starting, because think like if they wanted to send a message through Iranian sources, and there is nothing parallel in Western sources, I think it might have looked weird. So the Israeli media, I think, could have been an option, could have been used to intensify, like to make it more look more like the messages that the Iranians are getting are actually the truth. Just forgot English for a moment there. So this is my 2 cents that I didn't see anyone talk about that I think might have happened. I am not ignoring you. You write in Hebrew, so I saw your messages. I agree with a lot of what you said, but I don't have right now the option to dive into and then translate it as well. So let's go through things that are happening right now. By the way, trigonometry, which I was making fun of a lot during this time for their very interesting, irrelevant, and unnecessary take on the war on Iran, because they are, well, nobody asks them actually, and it doesn't matter what they want. Nobody wants to go to war. The problem with going to war is that usually, it's not that you are asked, it's that somebody, it's like you saying that, like, you know, I don't want to get, like, I don't want to get attacked and down this, like walking down the street, like I it's like, can you imagine somebody comes to you and like comes and like attacking you, and is like, and you're like, I don't feel like being in a quarrel right now, I don't feel like fighting with you. Like, nobody's asking you. It doesn't work this way. Like, which is like, I don't know, like a trigonometry. I was so surprised, like they can be so stupid to not understand that nobody's asking you when the war is happening. Like, if you deny a war that is already happening, then you are just losing in a war. It's like, you can deny as much as you want, you're still getting hit. Anyway, so they brought Ali Kaleban, who explains why we need a regime change, and I thought it would be good entertainment to show you that, because I want to also catch up with what's going on. I will change. I wanna see if there's any updates with things that are happening, so that, you know, everything would be up to date before I go through other things. Oh.
And others have called for people to rise up, only for them to be killed for nothing.
I think everybody understands and anticipates that they very well might not come home. But what else do you do? The war is one step, the uprisings, possibly armed uprisings, is another, and defections is the other. And I think that those two things, if they're neglected, we're not going to have the regime change. And I think ultimately this is the time to do it. The worst case scenario is that the war ends and the regime remains in power. Would have been better that there was no war at all.
Elika, welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Mr. Bali, you're saying you just finished watching this episode and it was a weirdly flirtatious episode. Was there anything of value?
Every time we put out...
Yeah, I hear you. 1.5 speed coming at you. I wonder how fast is 2 times? Is 2 times too fast? Is it possible? Oh, let's try 1.5 and maybe.
Episode where the guest is somewhat critical of the war in Iran. All the comments are like, you need to speak to an Iranian. So here you are for diversity purposes.
Diversity, oh my gosh, or maybe authority.
Okay. So this is
Hit me with the diversity.
This is here for authority, guys. Oh, it's going to be an interesting one. All right. So welcome back. Obviously, the subject is a serious one, even though we're joking around. Tell us, what your take is on everything that's been going on.
I think my take is, it's a very long take because this is something that has really built up until the moment that we are right now. Obviously, if you were following what was happening in Iran around January, where we had this massacre on January 8th and 9th, where it's estimated, well, these numbers, people want to war over these numbers, but the numbers that came back from the hospitals was about 36,000. And that was just each hospital in every city listing how many casualties they had. And that's not including the people who were just executed on the streets and who never made it to the hospitals. So suffice it to say that we're talking about tens of thousands. At that point, from my perspective and from the perspective of people inside Iran, we are always sort of hedging towards what's going on in there and what do they need from us, right? Because that's the only role we play. They don't have internet. They can't communicate with the outside world. So we want to know, well, what is it that you want? So through that period of time, there were so many messages, there were so many videos, there was so many just of this sort of like universal voice that was saying, we need help. We need help. We cannot fight this alone. These people are killing us with military-grade weapons. How do you defeat military-grade weapons? And so that was the call for help. Now, where things get tricky is that, okay, so then you have the US and Israel coming into this picture, and people sort of give this sort of condescending attitude of, oh, you think that these people are just here to save you and save your country. Well, none of us ever said that, right? None of us ever believed that any nation was acting anything but in their own interest. And it really, that is the way that things are. Everybody understands that nations act in their own interest. But because of this backdrop of, since October 7th, this radical anti-Zionism, anti-Israel, anti-Western, which stems back to Soviet infiltration, right? We've had that conversation, I think. It came to a point now where this war, which was supposed to be seen through our eyes as a rescue mission, perhaps through the US and Israel's eyes as, decapitation of an enemy, whatever, has now turned into something where people are being almost radicalized in support of the regime. And so it's getting really dark.
Well, I think there's probably some people who are being radicalized in support of the regime, but there's also, cards on the table. Francis and I recorded a conversation, will go out a couple of days from now, from when this goes out, where we are basically saying it doesn't look to us like any of the objectives any of us might have wanted to be achieved, i.e. Iran doesn't get nuclear weapons, i.e. the protesters who you were talking about get justice or have a regime that replaces the current regime that doesn't treat them the way that the regime change. I don't think that's going to happen. It's clearly not happening at the moment. And there's a possibility of a global recession. So you can also be concerned about what's happening without being radical.
I love how, can you stop for a moment and think, is there a possibility for global recession regardless? Is there an option that if you don't go to a war, then you're gonna get global recession as well? Is that an option? It's why is it just half? Everything is half. Nobody finishes a thought. Nobody takes a step beyond the first step of thinking. Why is it all one depth tree? Why?
In support of the regime.
Well, yeah, of course, the two completely different things. Right. There's obviously, a well-meaning sort of skepticism about what are the objectives of this war and when do we know if those objectives have been achieved. I think one of the main issues that's sort of, and it's something that I can't even get my head around, is that I don't think that there's ever been a time where war by itself would effectuate regime change. There are other things that need to sort of unite, like, for example, uprisings, defections within the ranks, and the person that has mostly largely been responsible for that is the Crown Prince, Reza Pahlavi. So when he called people out into the streets in January, they went out in their millions. When the internet got shut down, his views went down in the millions. So there was a strong evidence that there was a strong connection there. And so I think where this war has gone sort of been negligent is in not pulling in the other actors that would effectuate regime change, right? Also, Reza Pahlavi, I think there's, I can't say the numbers for sure, but I think there's 150,000 people within the ranks that are looking to defect to him. And so
what are you basing that on?
Well,
how do we know that?
His team says that.
There is a good reason for this look. There is a very good reason for this look. This is from what I know from behind the scenes. Even back during the 12-day war, there is a very good reason for this look. But it doesn't change the facts. It doesn't change the facts. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because Iran had to go. And the Iranians need to face reality if they want to get their country back ASAP. It's like they need to be understanding that if it's not them, It's no one. That's what I think.
How do we know? I mean, I can only tell you what his team says. But what I can tell you is
But do you see what I'm getting at, right?
But we have enough evidence of his support, right? We have enough evidence of the people chanting his name in the streets. We have enough evidence of millions of people coming out when he called them to come out. So that's good enough that we know that there are a ton load of people inside of Iran who support him. But either way, it's not about this isn't making a case about who supports him, who doesn't. It's making a case that why aren't we taking the necessary steps towards regime change? It's not going to be just the war in isolation. It's going to be the war does what the war needs to do. Then Reza Pahlavi calls the people into the streets. The regime is significantly weakened. There's been defection within the ranks, and then the regime falls. So I think it's almost like we're doing step one. But if we're not going to do step 2 and 3, then what's the point?
I mean, that's a fair point. When we interviewed Ted Cruz, he talked about arming the protesters. But I'll be honest with you, like, you know, I feel about the war in Ukraine very much the way you feel about Iran. It's personal to me. I have family involved and whatever. But I have never called for people in Russia to rise up against Vladimir Putin, because I always knew that if they did that they'd just get slaughtered and nothing good would come of it. And you know, I was on Diary of a CEO a couple of months back, and when this whole conversation about Iran was starting, I think the protests were just happening. And I was kind of saying at the time, I'm really not certain that calling people into the streets is going to create a positive outcome here. And I'm worried that I mean, the way things are going now, I don't see this working.
Well, I mean, it really speaks to the brutality of the regime, right? It's because, like, when you think about 1979, when there were these uprisings in Iran and the Shah just...
I feel like he conveniently forgot that Russia, first of all, already has nuclear weapons. So you see, he's coming from that kind of mindset, from what he experienced in Russia. Well, that's nice, but, you know, this is why, first of all, why can you not do this in Russia? First and foremost, because they already have nuclear weapons. And Russia, right, had them for a long time. And yes, they almost pushed the button several times already. Definitely, 100% they did, almost. Imagine a world where you wouldn't have to worry about them pushing button. That's one. Second, because like you would make sure in time that they wouldn't have the nuclear weapons. And second of all, like, the Iranians are way crazier. They're lunatic, like they believe in the destruction of the world. That's their aim. That's their goal. They want to destroy the world.
He left because he was like, I don't want this type of bloodshed of what it would take to sustain this regime.
You're right. Jonathan, you're right on that. Like, one of the biggest difference, because there are a lot of similarities between Russia and Iran. Like, especially like when the way they manage it, right? They're both empires. They're both multi-ethnic societies that that have territories that are very much geography driven, and they are centralized. Like, there are centralized but also decentralized at the same. Like, there are a lot of similarities, but you're right about the Russians having this masochistic relationship with the government, because the Russians, like, don't forget, like, the Iranians never stopped fighting. They are very emotionally driven people. They are very they kept protesting, they kept fighting, they never stopped. The Russians were not like that. You cannot, like, the Russians were not at all like the Iranians. The Iranians are way more hot-headed, let me tell it like that.
Right? And so now that is the situation. This regime is so brutal that there really is no length, no ends that it will go to not suppress the uprisings. But at the same time, it's like they're going to die anyway, right? So that's the way that they look at it. They look at it like they have nothing left to live for. Everybody in Iran has been affected by this regime now. Somebody's parents has been hanged. Somebody's children have been shot. You know, this isn't a life for anybody. So when you tell people at that point, you know, to go into the streets to fight for their freedom, at that point, it's like, what, they might as well die fighting. That's the way that they see it. I think everybody understands and anticipates that they very well might not come home. But what else do you do? And then the only other option is outside help. And now outside help is like the worst thing that you could possibly do, because this is American imperialism and Israel's plan for greater Israel or greater Iran or whatever the hell it is. So it's like we're fighting a battle on so many fronts, and it's impossible.
Well, that's kind of what I'm saying. I'm not sure that this can get solved the way that people want, and therefore encouraging more people to rise up against the regime. To take a point, look, if I was living in an authoritarian country and I felt the regime was evil, I'd rise up against it, and look, it'd be up to me. I
don't get it. Like, at what point do they get to the actual point where they have used their effing ballistic missiles? Used them a year ago already for no effing reason. Where are we gonna get to this point? Because honestly, and I say it like, okay, like people say like, oh, Israel, like by by the fact that they were about to attack Iran anyway, doesn't matter if the US would join or not, made the US like forced the America's hand. Well, I'm not gonna say, first of all, like the fact that we're lucky that Trump has the brains to know that the regime has to go and had always known that. Well, that's God's work, that we are actually aligned. But yes, you're effing right, because you know what, like, why would I accept getting hit by a nuclear weapon for you, loser? I'm not dying for you, Konstantin Kisin. You are not worth me. Like, you're an effing loser. Loser. Not dying for you. No, I don't care about your recession. I don't care. How about that? And also same with the Iranians. I'm sorry. I want the best for you 100%, right? But the truth is that whether or not you'd be able to rebuild yourself after the regime goes down is up to you. If, like, because here's the thing, there is a time. Now Iran is running out of time, running out of water, running out of everything. Whether they manage to pick themselves up and rebuild in time, or they're gonna just die in chaos, is not my effing problem. I'm not gonna get a nuke for you or for them. Oh, I'm not stressed over at all. I just want to beat them. What's wrong with that? And it's like, no, because they, like, listen, I remember very clearly. I remember the first round of ballistic missiles that they had sent, and everybody were like, listen, my friends, like a lot of them were in the army, they were like, are they actually that crazy? Are they gonna do it? Like, we all were like, it was like, we were all there. We were all like speculating. It's like, are they crazy enough? Are they actually gonna do it? Yes, they did it. They proved a point. Point was taken. I'm not taking a ballistic missile for you, you piece of shit. I don't care, Konstantin Kisin. I'm mad. And you know what? Like, it's my right. I know now that if they have a nuke, they're gonna send a nuke our way, and they were working on it oh my God. So I don't care, right? Israel would have fought. Yes, they would have they would attack Iran anyway. Iran would have retaliated all over the place anyway. Not my problem. Not my problem. I'm not dying for you losers. I'm not. I don't care. I'd rather die fighting than by just waiting for a nuke to hit me. Because never again means that we fight until the end and we die with our honor intact, not like a bunch of, I'm sorry, I don't want to say anything about our ancestors who died in gas chambers. Never again was never. Oh, never again. We will. Somebody would never. No, human nature is human nature. We're not stupid. Never again will we fight. Will we just die conveniently and taking no one else with us down? No, that's the never again. It's like, oh, everything that, like, it's tikkun olam. Everything that touches America, like a foreign culture, like they completely distort the meaning of the original. So, sweethearts, like, I don't like this entire conversation is Israel was going to attack anyway. I'm not taking a nuke for you. I don't care. It's like, okay, suffer from recession. It's not my problem. And this is just the reality. Now work around it. Work around it. Make your choices. It's like, you know what? Like, just submit to Islam right now, like your king did. Like everybody in your kingdom did. Just like, just let your, like, whatever, let your daughter be nailed to a table by a bunch of Pakistanis. It's your choice to make. You made this choice. I respect it. Respect my choices as well.
On whatever. But from outside, I'm worried that the administration and others have called for people to rise up. Only for them to be killed for nothing.
But I think that they're killed for nothing if everything isn't locked in place, right? I think if you have
Who effing cares? Why does it take so long? Like, why can they not understand like reality? Like, can't they not, like, I am so sick and tired. Do they not understand like a given situation? I also would like for the Muslims to not be Muslims and not at least not be as crazy as they are. Like, so what? But they are what they are. So we have to have like have like this all those safety and security measurements when we take a flight. We must be like profiling everybody. We must not because we want to, because we must. It's reality. It's also like, you know what? It's like, you know how stupid it sounds to me? Let me tell you how stupid they sound to me. This is how stupid. It's like they're like, they'd be, if for me, them arguing on why donuts have so many calories and that it's not okay that donuts would have so many calories because donuts, they want to eat them, but it's unhealthy for them. It's like, why are donuts to have so many calories? Like, this is how it sounds to me. Like, this is how stupid discussion is. It's like, there is a situation, and it's like you arguing against donuts having so many calories and not being healthy. It's a waste of time, because Israel is not gonna take a nuke for you. And obviously, Iran, if being attacked by Israel, that, by the way, on a 12 days war, right? Nobody was with Israel. America only joined when Israel cleared the skies, and it was clear that Israel is effing them, which is a country like a million times bigger, by the way. So when it was clear that Israel, like, you know, and it's like they don't even, like, no lube. It's like pounding them with no issues at all. This is where America was like, okay, fine, well, I mean, amazing operation, right? But it was like, they would have not joined in if Israel wasn't, or was showing that, like, you know, they cleared the skies. There's literally no risk here. Like, they did everything. And then you had Israeli special forces on the ground in Fordo that entire time. It's like, and it's like somebody gives to you on a silver platter the option to do something that would give you glory for entirety of humanity. Like, what kind of idiot wouldn't take this chance? This is why I said, like, people are like, oh, is America gonna strike us? And I was like, are you guys joking? It's like, can you imagine, like, somebody with a big ego, healthy ego, would pass an opportunity like that? You need to be crazy. Anyway, so here's the thing, right? Israel already attacked. Israel also attacked Hezbollah and killed Nasrallah without American approval. They did it on their own. They did it against American interest or whatever they wanted to. So there is a reality, right? I don't want Iran to develop nukes. Are the Iranians going to listen to me? No. So why your slow thinking brains cannot comprehend that just like the Iranians are not going to listen to you, neither would the Israelis. Who are you? Like, I'm sorry, Europe only killed 6 million in gas chambers, right? And it's like, you shot, your ancestors shot my grandpa's aunt when she walked down the street for no effing reason except for her having brown hair, maybe. That's the only reason. So I am supposed to be like, oh my God, but the Brits, they don't have any alternative energy sources. Oh my God. Seriously? So here's the thing. Iran is doing something, not asking you all what do you think. Israel doesn't fucking care either what you guys think. Now, this is the reality on the ground, okay? Israel is gonna attack Iran whether you like it or not. And there is nothing you can do about it, okay? So here's what you could do. You could join Iran and attack Israel. That's an option which Europe chose. by the way. That's what Europe chose. They chose to side with Iran. Now, yes, it looks like they're like not striking Israel actively, right? But that would be suicidal. And not because Israel, like necessarily because Israel would retaliate, but because it basically means that that's it. There is no Europe anymore. There's nothing that would keep the floods of Arabs away from them. And it's like, I mean, that's idiotic. I mean, it's not like that. It's like, you know, it's like, oh, yes. It's like them like nuking the Ukrainians because the Ukrainian pisses them off. It's like fine, and then you have to deal with the Russians, but the Russians, whatever, you know, it's like I don't want to compare who is worse because the Russians also have Chechens, and the Chechens can definitely compete with the Arabs. They can definitely compete with each other like easy. So here's the situation, right? So here are your options. Option one, attack Israel or go against it, which Britain did. So Britain wouldn't like, there's like don't you stop. Britain didn't do it, but like Europe did, like and don't use also actually. So Britain's no use of military bases, not allowing weapon shipments to fly through their airspaces, right? Like whatever they could, embargoes, 100%. They are there. For those who are unaware, those losers are embargoing Israel, all of them. Okay, they just like wherever they can, unless it's like somebody is like this in Spain, like when it was nicely explained to them that without some Israeli components or industries, it's like they got an exception. But it's like in general. So believe me, like they do whatever they can. So they chose a side. They chose it. Okay, they chose a side, but at the same time, they cannot go full force against Israel because, well, I guess they have just enough functioning brain cells, just maybe one or two. I don't know how many they need, so that they would understand that the next day maybe wouldn't be as happy as the night before. So that's the truth. Okay, so Europe made a choice, but it's like it's whatever. You also can I really how much can I complain when you clearly can rape girls in your streets and you're not gonna do nothing about it? I mean, what can I say? Is there logic to speak? Like, is it like somebody with brain to speak to? No, there isn't. So that's the reality. What can I do? It's like I can complain about it all day, right? But here, when I have a platform, I might as well tell you what in a world that is went through Tikkun Olam, what the conversation would be like. So that's the situation. Israel was going to attack, and then you chose, to go against it. And you can believe me, Europe does whatever it can to go against Israel, as much as they can, because if it was possible for them to kill the Jews and finish the job of what they started and couldn't finish because they didn't reach the land of Israel to finish it, thank goodness the Brits fought them. For some reason, the Brits are very, whatever. They're all over the place. To this day, we can see they're definitely dancing on all weddings, basically getting nothing. Anyway, so this is the situation. Okay, so if they could have, I'm sure they would have, but they can't because, they still have a little bit of brain left to understand that that's it. That would kill Europe. That would kill Europe. There would be nothing to stop the Muslims from getting to them. Plus, like technical details of the security systems being dependent on Israeli technology and stuff, that would also go away. So basically, too difficult, really. Like if they could, they would. So they do everything they can to F around. I promise you, like it's not on the news, but they do everything they can to screw us over. So, you know, if you already do everything that you can, so it is what it is. So that's the situation, okay? That's the situation. Yeah, don't get too cocky, Rebecca. If it wasn't for America, Israel wouldn't be able to do shit. Well, you're wrong, because Israel would have been able to take a lot of you pieces of shit with it down. I mean, if you die, don't die alone. That's my new motto. And you know, it's different from the Muslims that also like dying together. The difference is that they do it because they have their own paranoia in their heads, and we will only do it if, you know, let's just say the Holocaust did happen, right? So it's not, listen, I'm not, is it cocky to say that we're gonna take as many as possible with us? Is it cockiness? I'm not saying Israel wouldn't go extinct. I'm just saying that that the world would suffer. Like, I don't like what is it, what's cocky about it? Can you explain? Like, I'm missing something. Yeah, so anyway, happy Easter. Yes, exactly. And thank you, David, for your support. The real David Abraham. Thank you so much for your support. Yes, Israel did survive until 1968 with no American weapons or aid, but don't forget that, like, you can always just nuke us. It's like, you know, it's like you don't, it's not just that. It's like, it's not like America actively attacked us either, right? So it's like, that's an option. That's always an option. Is it stupid? Yes, it's stupid. Like, you can always do that, right? So I'm just saying that, like, just like, you know, just like Iran is like, you know, that thought about the doomsday, like, well, Israelis also know the trick already. So then it's like, it's gonna be painful for everybody. But it's different because it's here, like, here's the thing, right? Here's why it's different. The difference is that Israel works, it's like, does whatever it can to benefit the world. It cares about everyone. It cares about Iranians. We want Iran to be free. We want Iranians to be happy. We want the Arabs, like Israel does its best, right? But if the world is mentally ill, it's mentally ill. What can we do? Not my problem. And just, I'm saying, it's an option. It's an option, you know, it's an option. It's not also like, not everybody is crazy yet. Long story short, thank you, Berenbaum, for your comment. Do you not want to write in English sometimes? So whatever, you know, it's like, so that's the thing, right? So everybody's like, oh, Iran is like, there is a price to pay. Of course there is a price to pay, but the price will get pricier the more you wait, because they are not naturally peaceful, looking to do tikkun olam in the world. No, they're crazy lunatics who want to destroy the world. So let's not let them. Because here's the thing, at any point now, nobody wants to, like, at any point now, the Iran was like, you know, guys, what if we use the money that we have and our resources to, like, fix the environmental issues that we've caused in Iran? Maybe that would be better. But they don't. So they're crazy, okay? Why did we get to the point where people cannot tell the difference between those who are terrorists and those who would do whatever it takes to protect life? What do you mean, who is they you're talking about? All Europeans, Rebecca? Europe has governments, you know that, right? The governments do that, and the companies and universities, organizations. Individual Europeans are like, they come in all shapes and forms, you know. mostly stupid anyway, regardless. It's like, but it's true everywhere, also in Israel. Most people are stupid. It's not nothing personal. It's just the way it is.
Which is, decapitating the regime. If you have protesters who are coordinated in rising up, if they are armed, if there are defections, because that point of defection almost always happens where it seems that the instability is at a tipping point, that it could go one way or the other. And then there's personal stakes. There's personal stakes where it's like, okay, this is going this way, so I'm going to, this how it's always been with regime change, right? And we even saw with Syria, like it was 11 days. Everybody said, oh, this brutal regime, decades long Assad regime, there's no way that this is coming down. But somehow it did. I think the mistake.
After a brutal civil war that lasted God knows how long and killed hundreds of thousands of people.
Right,
Do we want that for Iran?
No, but that when it came down.
Yeah, we don't want that to Iran, for Iran. But Baruch Hashem, here's the thing, that like this is a risk we are willing to take. Like, listen, if the Iranians want to kill each other, how, like, it's like a brutal civil war. First of all, like, if you know the Syrians, like, honestly, oh my God, they're like the Syrians. I have nothing nice to say. I better shut up. I mean, the Syrians, like, I'm not talking about it like the Druze, right? I'm like in my brain, I already cut out the parts that are not like, the Syria that is the Syrian regime right now. So it's like I don't count all Java when I say Syrians. I don't count the Sweda when I say Syria, just to make it clear. So honestly, like when you mentioned like when it comes to the Syrians, like no, sorry at all. Actually, oh my God, they're so awful.
It was in 11 days.
But you had to have the civil war first.
Yeah. I mean, we basically had the worst of it, as far as I'm concerned. I think what doesn't make sense is to half-ass these things. That's what.
I mean, that's very optimistic because it can get worse. But it's here's the thing, right? It's like, again, yes, it could happen. Yes, also, by the way, if Iran doesn't change its regime, and I don't know how many times I said it already and how many videos I made, but nobody seems to care. They're running out of water, and the regime is making sure that they are running out of water as well. So they're going to die out of thirst anyway soon. By the way, this is what triggered the Syrian war, a civil war to begin with. Nobody goes that crazy when for no reason. There was a reason for why they went as crazy as they did. So like when you're thirsty, you go insane. And the Iranians are this close. And if the regime doesn't change, they will be there. They will be there. I will sign it with blood. They will get there. So they're given an opportunity not to get there. So anyway, why am I wasting my time?
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
I don't think it makes sense to have a war and to not be sort of collaborating with people like Reza Pahlavi, or collaborating in ways that can help make the protest successful. Maybe if it involves arming, I don't know, something that involves defection. I just think that this needs to be covered in much more broad way.
Which by the way, I want to say that everything that Elikash is saying, right? Like, first of all, let me pay my respect to her. She is an Iranian. She represents the Iranian interest. But at the same time, it's very important, right, to set the reality of ground, like the reality on the ground. I would have loved her to say something about the water situation, but like we don't. Like the reality on the ground is that the Israelis are unwilling to accept getting hit by a nuclear missile. Just unwilling, unwanting, uninterested. Just don't feel like it. So the regime is gonna get degraded and everything like that, whether we like it or not. Just because the Israelis are, crazy like that, don't feel like getting hit by nukes. It's just the way it is. And then you can come and say, this is the truth. This is the reality. Now let's think together how we make Iran prosper and not go to shit. Yes, Iran could go to shit. Yes, there are a million of things that could go wrong. You are correct about it, dear Konstantin Kisin, that uses his brain once yes, once not. it's normal, right? She's Iranian. But like, here's what you say. How do we make the world and structure things in a way that would help Iran to become a good place and not a dead, cracked ground desert? Maybe, you know? It's like, and then it's very much more, and then you can take this trigonometric conversation and like come with like a list, to-do list, and, you know, people who would want to help could help, or even if Iran is lost, right? There needs to be a conversation about like, okay, so how do we handle that? What if it does go the way Syria went, which is, I cannot stress it enough. If the regime doesn't go, they're gonna be like Syria. Anyway. Please just be careful when you make accusation and collectively group Europeans as one group of united people. Listen, instead of like being like, you know, a sensitive snowflake, take the you know, it's like, oh, it's like, what can we be insulted from what Rebecca said? What can we take to heart? What can we be like, oh, Rebecca, you should have said it better? I'm like, why are you wasting my time? If you don't understand, like, when I say like all Europeans, it's just, there is a huge divide between right and left in European countries, in many causes, corrupt EU governments, puppets, and making decisions against their own people. Oh, well, how is it different from the regime in Iran? Who is suffering right now from the regime in Iran? Europe, like Europeans, or you're in the same situation? In a sense, you're in the same situation. So it's like, is it like Iranians, right? When you say like you can digest it when it comes to Iranians, right? There's like, they're suffering, but they're not the regime, but it doesn't matter.
And also, look, nobody's ever really been honest about what it takes to turn a country that is authoritarian to a country which is a liberal Western-style democracy. For example, take Venezuela. My family have been involved in protests time and time and time again, going out on the streets, demonstrating. But what we have in Venezuela is something called the colectivos, and they're essentially Chavez's or the regime's armed thugs, and they suppress. In order for you to gain freedom, you need to get rid of all the colectivos. In the Iranian case, it's the IRGC.
Yeah. And I think what this really speaks to is how much ideology can really destroy nations, right? So you talk about socialist dictatorships, Islamist dictatorships. In either case, these are people who are convinced to the death of them that their ideology is the right ideology.
Okay, so if there is no way to turn a country from a dictatorship hellhole into liberal society that could be lived with, like that could be a neighbor and could reside in this world, Konstantin, I worry that what you are advocating for is annihilation. I hate it that they stop their thoughts midway. Continue. If there isn't a way, then that means one thing. It means this complete annihilation. Because if you cannot live with that neighbor, and there is no chance for that neighbor to get any better, then, you know, that neighbor cannot be your neighbor or anyone's neighbor. It's like they stop midway. It's what bothers me all the time. It's like they make the first step, which is true, but then they forget to follow through and understand what it actually means. If a country cannot change, if a person cannot change, if a psychopath will continue killing, if a PDF would continue PDFing, no matter what, then there is only one solution. The final one.
Of contradictory evidence, right? With socialism, I mean, it's the worst ideology in human history, basically the deadliest ideology in human history. And you see that these people are
this is like the thing I love about Christianity. Christianity is like, this is the thing I love, right? It's like, we have to believe. We have to believe that they can be better. We have to. We have to. And what I love more about Judaism is that Judaism says we have to believe, but we also have to protect ourselves and to do whatever is right. And like, we are, first of all, like, obligated to ourselves and our protection, and we would always choose the minimum maximum solution. Maximum protection, minimum harm. Always give a chance to change. Which is my personally, I like this approach. But like the Christian thing is like, you have to believe. You have to believe. And I think the Christian approach also works better when you are in more in a situation where things are more desperate as well. I mean, Amir, I don't know if you noticed, but Christianity really does need to defend itself, and they're not 0.2% of the population. By the way, happy Easter, everybody. Are there any Christians here? Is Easter today? Are you like with your families right now? How does it work? I heard that. I know that Trump had to be like was supposed to be in like 3 different services today, and he bailed out of all of them or something like that. So I'm guessing Easter is today. So, but here's the thing: like, you need to believe that they can change. You need to. It's mandatory to make the world better. That's mandatory belief. It's like this is what God was invented for.
Are willing to live and die to maintain that system. It's the same with Islamism, right?
I think to push back on what you're saying, Elika, I think Islamism is actually far worse. I take what happened in Venezuela with Delcy Rodriguez. Now, people talk about regime change, but Delcy was an integral part of Maduro's government. But, you talk about socialism and all the rest of it. She's not that ideological because she was happy to kick him to the curb and become leader herself.
Okay, so
what she's really interested in is power and status and the money. Whereas you look at, some of the lads in charge of Iran, they're pretty...
They really believe.
They're true believers.
They are true.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That's such a waste of time. I mean, I appreciate the entertainment, the information aspect of it, but like, it makes people stupid. Like, it makes like these kind of conversations, at some point, it just makes people stupid. Makes people very stupid. It's like a religion, I understand it's perfectly well, right? Christianity would have said, by the way, which they do. And the fact that they brought the Bible to Iran, smuggling it. A lot of Christians smuggle the Bible to Iran, which the Bible, like, there are a lot of good ideas there, good ideas, things to implement, which one are like, great. You're doing something, and people talking like, believe me, like, the Christianity makes a difference when you add it to the mix. I don't think it's perfect. I think it's a transitionary step, like the Rambam said. It's like a one step towards like better humanity, a necessary step. It's like a kabat korbanot. Also, the Rambam said it's like sometimes you need like the extra helping wheels on the bicycle before you remove them. It's like, this is like this is my genuine feelings when but it's a step that you need, and Christianity works very well there. And I'm sorry, Jews, you need to understand that Judaism is too hardcore for humanity. Christianity is a necessary transitional phase. So it does a lot. It does a lot where Christianity enters, like it does a lot to change things in the ground and like introduce ideas that are important. So when you have belief, when you have faith, then the Christians like who go ahead and smuggle the Bibles to Iran, they make a change. They make a spiritual change. They give force to resist as well, because like Christianity does it for you. like it gives you this faith and belief that you can like go all the way without like, you know, without expecting anything. You just know you have the faith and the trust. You have to have that. You have to have that mentality. And you're saying Judaism didn't transition into Christianity. The Christianity that you know is not Jewish at all. It's like the Jewish parts of Christianity went extinct in the 10th century. So there was a Christianity that was Jewish, but it disappeared. It disappeared. So there is no Judaism that transitioned into Christianity anymore. It's non-Jews that adopted, like that took a transitionary form of Judaism. So anyway, like it or not, the Christians took baby, like they changed the Roman Empire. They adopted all the babies that were thrown away to you know, that were like, okay, deformed, like we don't need them. They adopted the female babies, for example, which is like obviously a necessary kind of creature who needs females. Like, you know, they took them. They introduced the idea of like the sanctity of life, like you don't throw babies away. You don't you don't infantilize, you know, you don't kill them when they're babies. You know, all these ideas. Like you cannot say that like Christianity did that. And it was very normal in Rome to just kill the baby that didn't look like how you want it to look like. So in Greece. And it's like, and then Christianity is like, no, how about life is important? And they took the babies. They took the babies people didn't want. And we're like, we will raise them. It was like a genius idea. So so that's like, this is the thing, like, right? And they're just, why am I saying like this religion, like the faith is stronger, is like, if they had any faith, they would be sitting there and they would be thinking how to help Iran be better and how to make like, and not just it can go so wrong. Losers. And then never finish up the half-assed baked thoughts that they have. What is saying? Thank you for your support, Ochit Kumaraja. Thank you. Muslims spread disinformation saying after Muslims, Israel will go after Christians. It's written in the Talmud. They also say doing PDF things is legal in Jews. Epstein used to do. Can you educate me as a non-Jew? So Epstein is not a very observant Jew. Like I wouldn't take him as an example for like a exemplary Jew. So in Judaism, rape is not allowed, not even if you're married to the person. So in Judaism, like you cannot force relations even with a person you are married to. Do you think it's legal when there is like consent is mandatory? And it's like the Rambam nicely wrote that not only it's mandatory, you must be happy. And you both must, there needs to be a lot of like intimacy and like a lot of preparation. Everybody needs to be in the mood. Like Judaism doesn't even allow if they're like like if you actually follow the Seder properly, then you would understand like you're not like Judaism thought about consent in marriage way before anyone else did, like 1,000 years before it became a law in the world anywhere. So it's like, no, you only have it if everybody is happy about it. So of course it's illegal. It's not like it's, but here's the thing, like legal, not legal, right? It's rare that Judaism is in a place where it enforces law. So it's like, you have to understand, like, no, like if I eat pork, no Jew is gonna, like, nobody's gonna do anything to me, right? But it's like illegal in Judaism. It's not like there is the law of the land, and there's like, it's different. It's not. Yeah, here's what she said here. Thank you for enforcing my point. It's not French. It's super mainstream, and all of us learn it before we get married. Yeah. So obviously it's not true, but you also cannot say it's like, oh, here's a Jew that didn't follow it. Well, Judaism is like, it's like you have the law of the land. Am I Sephardic or Ashkenazi? I don't know. You all need to counter the disinformation campaign spread by these Muslims. Why do I need to counter the disinformation campaign spread by these Muslims? Honestly, like, I don't believe in like countering. I believe in spreading your own campaign instead. So, all right. Oh, so okay. So it's been a while, but here's Mossad commentary. They published what happened in the rescue mission inside Iran, the full breakdown. So let's read what they wrote. Muslims bear the burden of proof. They can't weigh like no. So here's the thing: like, Muslims don't count either way. Okay, like when somebody says like, I'm Muslim, so, and then they want to criticize Judaism, it's like hearing a criticism from somebody who says he has a severe mental illness, or like, it's like nice, and like you can hear them, right? But if like they are following Islam, it's like, I hear you, right? Sometimes there is a grain of truth in it, and it's like, okay, I'll take it, like, because you can get like tips and like ideas from everywhere. This is something I learned, right? But it's like, it's like you take it and you examine it as if, how do I say it? Like, you treat it in the same way you would treat it if somebody brought a subject that is unrelated to you, but can happen in society, let's say. Or like, it's like, or like, I don't know, whatever. You take it as like, you cut it away and you're like, let's examine. I mean, you're the one who's supposed to be knowledgeable here, but you may check, just curiosity, whatever. Nothing wrong with that. But it's like, okay, I have an example. Okay, so you take it in a way that you would take something that somebody with Alzheimer's would say, but that sometimes this sick person, right, that usually just talk about like how they were kidnapped by aliens the night before. Like, sometimes they would actually say something that needs to attention. But it's like, but that's so the thing is, the real campaign is for people to understand when somebody in front of you is mentally ill. That's the real campaign. So somebody's telling you he's a communist, he's Muslim, like, okay, mentally ill, I understand. Mentally ill or or naive and yet to be educated. Lacking in some manner. Depends on their age as well, you know. It's how they say, it's like, if you are not a socialist when you're 20, you're cruel, but if you're a socialist when you're 40, you are an idiot. Something like that. That's that. I mean, I didn't know a lot of things either. I still don't know a lot of things. Okay, just, you know. So what fighting their disinformation campaign is like, what am I supposed to fight against this Alzheimer's sick persons? Am I supposed to like have a campaign saying, oh no, aliens did not abduct her last night? No, it's ridiculous. Like, all you need to say is like, she has Alzheimer's, right? So it's the same thing. It's like they're Muslim. It's like, it's like, oh, you're like, when people start talking about like, you have certain like, you know, so just like you diagnose diseases with people, you can diagnose when somebody is like has a parasite in their minds. Like, they start talking about like, you know, they use the code words, stupid, like there are a lot of code words, so I don't feel like going into it right now. I want to talk about Iran. But like, one code word is unity, for example. We need to be united. This is a code word for somebody who is a socialist or a communist or an Islamist. Tawhid is a concept as well. Also with Jews, by the way. Jews who come with you and tell you this is, you dismiss them. They're basically Muslim in their brain. So it's like there are clues, right? So there is unity, and then like so it's like the difference between akhdut and lechidut, which is like, there is unity that allows different opinions, and there is unity that requires like actual unity. Like, so the people who, and I forgot, like, I think it's unity and what's the other word? Anyway, two different words in English. When somebody talks about unity, like, that's where you start. Oh, you're like, okay, you need to start suspecting. This is the first, like, this is a very good sign. First, like, does this person, like, are they new to the world? Like, what's their yeah, well, not conformity. There is, I'll tell you what the word is. Coherence. Cohesion. So there is cohesion and there is unity. Yeah. Anyway. Oh, you're saying unity, not uniformity. Anyway, but they say unity. The unity already, like, is suspicious. And like, let's, to be honest, like, even cohesion, like, no. Say, like, here's the goal. Can we agree on this goal? Because, like, there are things like, to be an American, you need to believe in the Constitution. If you don't believe in the Constitution, get the F out, right? So it's like, not unity. Here are the principles, right? This is the normal person speak. Like, everybody talks about unity. I'm like, I shut out. And sometimes I just exit the room because I know they're gonna waste my time. I just hate people say it. It's people who want to sound good, but like they just want to sound good. I don't like it. So F-15E shoot down and daring U.S. rescue inside Iran, full breakdown threat. Let's see. NVIDIA. April 3rd, a U.S. F-15E strike Eagle from the 494th Fighter Squadron is shot down over in southwestern Iran. Crash crash site. It's so hard to read. Boya Ahmed province near. How do I read these words? Wreckage confirms aircraft identity. Iran claims a new IRGC air defense system was used. Exact system, IRGC, probably Chinese or something. They got it from somewhere. That's like, I don't know. Maybe they developed it. I don't wanna. But like, I wouldn't like completely remove the possibility that they got it first from China or something. But it's not like the Persians are stupid. They can develop stuff. I guess this is part of the problem. Hour 0. Both crew eject. Pilot activates survival gear and is quickly located, recovered within hours. WSO lands. So this is the weapon something operator. Oh, weapon something operator. That works very well. This is WSO, weapon something operator. Anyway, lands separately on mountain terrains. Beacon briefing detected, then goes silent. Hour 1 to 12, evasion using SEER training, maintaining intermittent encrypted contact with U.S. forces. Iranian media calls for civilians to capturing, reward reportedly up to $60,000, shoot on site messaging. Hours 12 to 24, moves to high ground, 7,000 feet. How much is it in meters? I don't know. U.S. ice air tracks Iranian forces in real time. Unit closes, additional airstrikes, advancing forces. 8:10 incident. An NT supporting the mission is hit. Pilot ejects over Kuwait, recovered safely. Caesar operations intensify. Wow, this is so boring to read, honestly. Black Sox taken. You need to see visuals when you read it. Black Hawks take fire during rescue attempts, return with injuries on board. There are a lot of words that are not fun to say, like the HC-130 conducts aerial refueling. Maybe I'm just not a good CIA deception operation, false narrative spread inside Iran. WSO already recovered, IRGC search disrupted. CIA locates WSA coordinates and coordinates pass to U.S. leadership. Trump authorized immediate extraction. Hours 36 to 48, final rescue, massive nighttime CSAR operation launched. U.S. special forces inserted deep inside Iran. WSO located and extracted alive. Exfil complications. MC-130 aircraft land at remote Iranian airstrip. At least 2 aircraft disabled on the ground. Decisions made to destroy them. Aircraft blown to prevent sensitive tech capture. Reports also indicate a light helicopter lost. All personnel successfully extracted. Strategic note: Israel reportedly paused airstrikes during the operation. Full coordination across multiple theaters. Trump confirms no U.S. personnel killed. Dozens of aircraft involved. Final result: 3 U.S. airmen, 2 F-15E crew, 1 A-10 pilot. All rescued, no captures. That's insane. That's insane. That's crazy. Who showed it? He showed it on a map. Oh, you say to see. You're saying, should I check to see? That's a based comment. I cannot deny. I cannot deny it. I need some. I'm used to high level entertainment with my information. When information is served, what can I do? So what can I do? To see. All right, let me see. To see. Videos. No, probably is it in the live section, right? Trump arms Iranians. That's what it says. 6 hours ago. Is that here? Or the U.S. pilot lost in Iran Air Force launch? No. U.S. prepared. It's the last one? Okay, so it's not that before getting into geopolitics, I was an island expert. Geopolitics came before the islander. So geopolitics was way before. Yeah, I am tired. Let's just watch this and then finish. I'm guessing that's the video.
Tunnel, I'm Maya Tusi, and today is a massive day. A huge Easter victory for the United States military and a humiliating defeat for the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps in Iran. We're going to give you guys the latest update on what's been happening over the last few hours in the conflict in the Middle East. We have a lot of exclusive videos, of course, also some videos from the rescue operation. We now can confirm that the United States, with the help of the Israeli intelligence and the Iranian people on the ground, have managed to rescue the weapons system officer, or as we say, the second pilot of the F-15E that crashed a couple of days ago. He has been rescued. This has been absolutely embarrassing for the IRGC. They couldn't even capture one single American. Also, a couple of things to mention. Firstly, happy Easter to the whole of the Christian world. We're going to explain in details the rescue operation and what exactly happened. We're going to show you videos. President Trump has also now confirmed, the White House have confirmed, that President Trump has been arming the Iranian people in the country since January, since the January uprising. We're going to explain how that happened. And also more of the IRGC Basij units are now abandoning their posts and checkpoints. We have, of course, videos to show as evidence. And most importantly, a big shout out to our 2C TV team, because we can now confirm that on this channel, we are not going to be using Google Maps when it's not necessary. We have, our team have now created and built our very own 2C TV interactive map. So we don't have to rely on anybody else. This is our own system, which obviously can actually, it's interactive, so we can actually show you exactly what's going on the ground, wherever it is, pinpoint
cool.
locations for you guys. We're going to use this interactive map that we now have to explain the rescue operation. All right, so before we get to this, let's go to the civilians in Iran, in Dehdasht. This was the essentially the site, the area of the crash that happened a couple of days ago. They decided to all get on the streets, to block the streets, to prevent the IRGC forces from searching and capturing the US pilots. And this is how it turned out. So let's watch the first clip and come back. So they all came out, and then there was another group from other villages that started driving through the main road.
I see you're bringing a lot of ways to code words like microaggressions and diversity or screen. 100%. Thank you so much for gifting. Wait, why is it not showing up here? Jack Ray 1. Thank you so much for gifting 5 Rebecca Bursaf membership. Welcome new members. You guys, it's on 1.5. Do you guys want it on a 1? Should I slow it down? Oh, I'll slow it down. It looks like you guys are. Sounds like you guys want it slower.
And they basically made it very, very difficult for the IRGC to be able to go through them. So they just literally stood around, like, okay, all we have to do is just block these roads, and they can't do anything. And that was incredibly successful. We also have updates, intel from the Immortal Guard, the People's Army in Iran, that there were also Iranian civilians who helped the American to be safe, to give him shelter temporarily, and also help him to find a way out of this area to go somewhere else. And I'm going to explain where that was. Following this, everybody from the IRGC decided to go to roughly the area where the crash happened. The IRGC Basij members were all annihilated.
Woohoo!
Literally, every single person who went there were killed by the Americans. This is actually a video filmed by the IRGC when they're the plainclothes Basijis. They go to the mountains, and they realize that everything's gone completely wrong. And one of them says they are, well, this was actually filmed by an Iranian, and they said they are soldiers, plainclothes. Oh God, oh Hussein, they have killed them. This was after
And
the
there's
American.
125. Yeah, I agree. I agree. It's a bit too slow. I want to say something about diversity. So diversity is your strength when you have one math. Somebody who's good at math, somebody who's good with languages. You know, diversity is your strength. Somebody who's a doctor, somebody who's an engineer, somebody who gives good hugs. That's when diversity is your strength. That's diversity is your strength. It's like you don't want everybody in the group to be mathematicians. It's going to be like, too much. If like to run society, obviously.
Target now, and I will explain how this happened because when you discover the story of this operation, you're going to find it absolutely astonishing how successful the Americans were. This was a massive trap, huge trap set by the United States. Anyway, there's a few of them here. There are more of them. The interesting thing about saying they're soldiers, plain clothing soldiers. They're all dead. One of the interesting things about this operation last night was that the liberal Western media, specifically the likes of CNN and others, that were reporting this in a very, very premature way. When we initially started getting the videos of the Iranian civilians blocking the streets near Dehdash, the media were saying that, oh, look, the Iranian civilians have been told by the IRGC to go and capture the American, and they have listened. And then everybody else in Iran were like, what are you talking about? We're doing the exact opposite. But the media started spreading lies, and then they had to retract it, obviously, because they realized there was absolutely no evidence. Now, part of the operation also included the route towards the mountains. And again, I'll show you guys on the map in a second where we are talking about. But the Americans used 2 C-130s, 4 MH-6 Little Bird helicopters in order to rescue the crew member from Iran. They did manage to get him on the helicopter, one of the helicopters. The problem was that the C-130s got stuck, and they had to extract the personnel, but they had to leave some of that behind, and then they had to destroy them. Let's go to the next video. So this was the clashes near Dehdash beforehand. Okay, so the best way I can explain this to you guys is by going on our first ever exclusive in-house built 2CTV interactive map that we have. And let me show you on this is obviously the territory, the Iranian territory. The location of the second pilot or the weapons systems officer was not where it was supposed to be. And that was on purpose, thanks to the CIA, with the help of the Israeli intelligence. Firstly, the Americans beforehand, over the last 2 days, set up a temporary base deep within Iran. They literally put boots on the ground and nobody knew about that. They had a base right in the center of Iran around this bit, just south of Esfahan. The base was set up just outside the main city, but one of the main issues with this was that so the Israeli officials did share a lot of information with the Americans in terms of the search and rescue operation. But then the Americans also realized with the intel that they have, what they can do is slightly trick the IRGC, and they successfully managed to do it. Essentially, let me show you. Oh, no, that's wrong. Get rid of that. The Americans, to the southwest, this is where Dehdash is, the orange square. That's where everybody thought the second pilot is located. So the Americans started to launch towards this area. They sent a few fighter jets and bombers, and they launched over here. Meanwhile, the pilot was actually somewhere else. He was here. Hang on. We'll call him the WSO, or the weapons systems officer, right? So he was right there, to the east, from the eastern parts of Dehdash. So the Americans then started to send their special forces over here to pick him up. Meanwhile, around this area, Dehdash, where the IRGC send their military, everybody got blown up. Right here, all these explosions, every single thing was blown up. And then they obviously struggled completely to recover and to also find out exactly where the second pilot is, which was not even close to that. There was a mountain and he was hiding there. So prior to the locating the weapons system officer, the CIA launched a deception campaign. That was the day before, hours and hours before. They used what they called unique capabilities to search him and found him. They were already in contact with him. They knew exactly where he was going to be. He was also helped by Iranian civilians initially to find shelter. He was injured. He went to the mountains, right where it is, to the south of Esfahan. And the Americans said that this was the ultimate needle in the haystack. But in this case, it was a brave American soul inside a mountain. Invisible, but for the CIA's capabilities, quite easy to find. Then they blew up the remaining aircrafts, the C-130s. So unfortunately, they had to leave them. They blew up 2 of the planes that they had. That's millions and millions of dollars, because they didn't want them to fall into the hands of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. And one day, there will be a whole Netflix movie about just this operation and what exactly happened. Crazy stuff. Now, in the southwestern parts of Iran, or near Dehdash, civilians, as I said, let's go to another video that we have showing the civilians blocking the streets and driving towards the area to prevent the IRGC from capturing the Wizzo. Let's have a look at this and then come back. Look at that. Look at the truck. This was the moment when CNN. Hang on, let me turn this on. CNN initially reported this, saying, oh, these are the Iranian civilians being told by the IRGC to go and capture the American. In fact, that wasn't true. Mm-hmm. Then they had to retract that statement because they realized, oh, these are the Iranian civilians who are helping the Americans, who literally blocked the route for the IRGC military, and everything changed from here. And of course, with the trap that was set by CIA and the help coming from the Israeli intelligence, there was no way that this operation at that point was going to fail. So these guys have done their homework. Now, we also have some aerial footage showing the 2 United States HC-130J Combat King 2 aircrafts that was, and the 2 helicopters that were destroyed. I mean, the rest of them were destroyed by the Americans. This is what we have. This was the site of the wreckage. Brian says, I don't trust Netflix to get this portrayed accurately. Or maybe Apple TV then, fine. Apple TV will probably do a better job. Okay, also, there is we have another footage actually showing the 2 C-130.
You guys want to continue here? Because I think we can wrap up with showing like a parade of losers, which I thought would be funny. It's like, you know, all the people were like making fun of, just to make just laugh a little bit before we go to sleep. But I can continue if you guys want to continue watching. But I just stopped it. I was thinking wrapping up. Anyway, I think you can find his channel pretty easily. You guys started talking about very weird things. The chat right now looks very, very interesting. So there is a couple of things that made me laugh. You guys, why are we talking about vitamin C all of a sudden? So this is just annoying, to be honest. Speaking of Europe, France, Spain, Italy, Switzerland, Austria will pay the price. Look at that. Look at the way they had to fly over to. But like, couldn't they? Is there no it's France, Italy, Switzerland, Austria. Can they not fly? I don't know. I don't understand. Anyway, where is the new things? Wait, what? I saved new things. Why is there no new things? Refresh. Hmm? Where is the things I saved? Where did they go? Maybe I could just. I don't get it. Oh, this made me. I want to see that Tucker Carlson. What an idiot.
The point is,
why is he not in jail? When is he gonna go to jail? It's gonna be so funny.
that it's the end of something. Whatever that religion is not going to continue. It just won't, because it's a lie. And so it will end, as all lies do. It will be revealed as a lie, as all lies are. And so you're watching the end of the global American empire, the unipolar world that was great, by the way, while it lasted, but it's over.
If it was
And you're
great,
watching
why
the
would you go
end
against it?
of whatever American Protestant Christianity, one of the greatest and most positive forces in the history of this world, whatever it became after the Second World War, which is something unrecognizable.
I mean, he was possessed. Like Tucker Carlson says strange things because he's been possessed by a demon. He's like a demon possessed him and everything like that. You know what I find weird? It's like people who have platforms behave as if they what they put out in the world like doesn't, instead of like inspiring, you know, it's like America is the best. Like, you know, it's like a salesperson. You are an American. Sell America to me. Sell America. Like if you love America. Oh, it's been great. It's been great. I was like, anyway, I know he's a loser, but I'm just saying. Oh, Piers Morgan, another loser. That is so funny. This is embarrassing. Deleted President Donald Trump. Donald Trump, unless you want everyone to think you've lost your marbles. I mean, Piers Morgan loses his marbles every single day. I mean, all he said is Tuesday will be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day, all wrapped up in one in Iran. There will be nothing like it. Open the effing straight, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah, President Donald J. Trump. That is the most beautiful, beautiful, amazing message I've ever read. It's so beautiful. Praise be to Allah. Praise be. And that's amazing. Everybody knows Allah is the biggest Zionist. So, yeah, that's such a loser. This is embarrassing. No, you are an embarrassment, Piers Morgan. This is badass. This is cool. This is what you want to see. I want to see, in the end of the day, right? People align with the winners, not with the losers. Why do we see so many Europeans siding with the Muslims? Because the Muslims win. They love being on the winning side. He's busy. She doesn't. You're saying Piers. Don't use a she on Piers Morgan. Why? What did woman do to you? He is a he. You like? I mean, he is a he. It's like you don't. Let's like you know. It's like this. Can you imagine? I always thought can you imagine if Hillary Clinton or the drunk Kamala Harris would have been a president? And then I know stupid Americans would have been thinking oh, this is what women are like. No, this is not what women are like. This is not what women are like. They are just this. And Piers Morgan is not what men are like. It's like, no, Piers Morgan and Kamal, you know, it's like this. Let's not make the scum of the earth represent genders or group, you know, genders. Oh, I love that. Let's see that.
The president views the last 40 years as an era of which American workers and American farmers have been ripped off. They've been ripped off, and what he's saying is we want to have a trade with the world, but it has to be a trade in which American businesses and American workers and the products they make and what American farmers grow and produce has a fair shot to be sold around the world. On issue after issue, that's been the case. You talk about foreign aid reforms. This is not our money. This is taxpayer money.
Yes.
The president said it's
Yes.
foreign aid. But
Yes. A government that understands it's a taxpayer money. So not they either. So I'm willing to compromise on it. We can call Piers Morgan and it. Is that, should I make a poll on it? Can we agree on that, you guys? Think we can think Piers Morgan is just an it. It just it's a something. It's an it.
But we're going to do foreign aid for countries that are aligned with the United States and in a way that doesn't waste the taxpayers' money. The president views the last 40 years as an era of which American.
What are your thoughts on Democrats who are protesting against this war? Why are they doing it? First of all, it's like a fun group activity. Like they get to see their friends. Like they get to walk down the streets, like, get their steam out of their system, It's like, why not? Why not? I mean, if somebody is still a Democrat, honestly, after everything that, what is a Democrat? A person, oh no, I'm out of battery. And also I'm out of battery in general as a person, honestly. If somebody who voted to Kamala Harris who is drunk all the time, like, that's a weird angle. Then what? Who died? I didn't die. Anyway, so what is a Democrat? Is it somebody who voted for Kamala Harris? Because if they voted for Kamala Harris, so is it drunk? I mean, they voted for it. Like they were willing to vote for a drunk person. I don't know what it says, but it says something. So, Piers Morgan has a very beautiful home in an exclusive neighborhood in Los Angeles. He's not that stupid. It is not that stupid. It. It's very important that we use correct English here. It is not stupid. It's just greedy, immoral. But I'm pretty sure it is also stupid. So. It's funny because we had that discussion yesterday, like a couple of days ago, that somebody said, like, in Christianity, like there's too much emphasis on spirituality and not enough like on materialism and the real world. And I said, like, the reason is like when the Christianity went like spread in societies where where getting rich would mean, like, I don't know, running a gladiator business. So it's like, if you get rich by running a gladiator business, better not be rich, right? Better be spiritual instead. So you can, you can be, it's a thing, right? It's like, you can be smart, 100%, but immoral. It's like, he's smart in a sense that he can get rich, like, I don't know how you it's like so stupid. Don't forget that actors, like, originally they were like they are whores, and like that's the joke. Like, what do you want? So, everything, it's like, in the end of the day, it's like, we all have our role in the world. For example, sharing, liking, subscribing to my channel, and supporting me in Buy Me Coffee, and then going to sleep, everybody. Good night. God bless Trump. God bless America. Don't stop being America. The Constitution is great. And support this channel. Strong, individual, innovative people like us should support each other. And me, especially me. Good night.